Today, we'll be revealing one of Missouri's best-kept dirty little secrets and see if you think you're tough enough for this muddy obstacle course.
And we're going to be giving you guys an inside peek at the new exhibit at the St. Louis Public Library featuring the artist Amadee.
The international exhibition of Sherlock Holmes is heading to the St. Louis Science Center, and we'll chat with the president of the Science Center to learn more about this interactive exhibit.
All that and more coming up next on this edition of St. Louis Presents. Welcome to this edition of St. Louis Presents. You know it is officially fall when they start rolling out the pumpkin flavored everything. Is it just me?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Have you had your pumpkin concrete yet?
No.
Okay.
Do you like the pumpkin stuff? Because I'm
not a big fan.
Thank you.
It's a little overpowering for everything, you know what I mean?
Overpowering?
To me, the taste is.
See, I've switched from pumpkin pies to sweet potato pies because I think it's more flavorful.
But it's not just pie. I mean, it's beer and cookies and coffee and everything is pumpkin flavored. And then when they say, oh, it's made with real pumpkin juice, I just go,
yeah, then
ew.
You know it's going to be even more overpowering.
Well, while we're talking about pumpkins and fall, let's revisit something that we talked about a few shows ago when we were wrapping up Fair St. Louis. And you remember that we actually asked the organizers, will it be in Forest Park again next year? Will the riverfront be ready? And there actually was a big announcement about that this week, so take a look.
So I'm pleased to announce today that with the blessing of the City of St. Louis and Forest Park forever, we will be returning to the spectacular setting of Art Hill for Fair St. Louis 2015.
All right, so another year in Forest Park while they get the arch grounds ready. And
but Debbie, as I remember from last time, right, there weren't any problems.
No.
I mean,
none.
In fact, it went off really well.
It did. It really did. And I think a lot of people were a little nervous to go because they weren't quite sure how it would work in Forest Park.
Yep.
So.
Your husband was one of them, as I remember.
Yes, we didn't go. We didn't go. But I
forgot about that. You did go. But it went over so smoothly. Even the cleanup went really well. When we interviewed her, she was talking about it went super duper well and it wasn't that bad at all. So I was really surprised about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the crowds are for 2015. But again, it will be in Forest Park once again. And City Arch River 2015 is what they call the project on the arch grounds. And so they should be hopefully ready by the end of 2015.
Yeah.
So
That'd be exciting.
That's going to be cool.
We'll do a show about that too. Don't you think?
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else is exciting? You never know what famous person is going to be in town. And this time around, you know we've had American Idol auditions in town. We've had all kinds of other reality shows that have taken place or sprung from St. Louis. But we had Nick Cannon in town, and he is, of course, I think almost the former Mrs. Mariah Carey, but also from America's Got Talent. And he was in town in regards a boy band. So we're going to see exactly what he was doing in St. Louis and if we'll have some more St. Louis musicians coming out of town.
Okay.
Maybe we should take it slow.
The Demetrius Johnson Charitable Foundation hosted Nick Cannon's auditions, where kids from the inner city came to try out and get a shot to be signed for a national recording contract.
I'm on it just to strive. I'm doing shows that's live. I'm on it. You watching me sing.
The very first time that I saw your brown eyes, your lips said hello when I said hi. I knew right then you were the one.
Do you not think so far ahead? 'Cause I've been thinking about forever. Ooh. Baby, these lips can't wait to taste your skin. Baby, no, in these eyes, baby.
Ooh, no, baby, just go with it. 'Cause when you with me, I can't explain it. It's just different. We could take it slow, or act like you're my girl and skip the basics.
I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. I'm breaking all the rules, yeah, yeah, yeah. Tonight, hey, if I was you, I would leave me.
When I had you, I treated you bad and wrong I did. And girl, since you went away.
Outstanding. But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody's time. Like I said, this is the best city we've been in so far. So you guys definitely been bringing it, but extremely talented, extremely humble. I mean, you know, like I said, we're looking for something that's very specific. So it's not really about if you didn't have talent. Like clearly, all you guys just blazed it in this. You know, there's more talent in this room than anywhere else we've ever seen. So if you don't hear from us, just know that it has nothing to do with, you know, your skills or your passion or anything. Just that, you know, we're looking for about 5 guys all across the nation. So it's really a very specific idea that we're looking at. But I mean, if I could, I'd sign everybody in here. But just know that you guys got it and continue. Don't let nothing stop you. You know what I mean? All right.
Wow. Did you hear that little boy sing?
Yeah, he was good.
I was all along with him. He did the whole trill and everything with the voice and
Remind
everything.
me to tell you about my years in a boy band. Why is everyone laughing?
We're not.
Okay,
We're not going there.
Boy band wannabe.
No. But speaking of artists, Amadee Walsh-Schlager spent nearly 5 decades as the artist behind America's oldest and longest-running cartoon, The Weatherbird.
But there was much more to Amadee's career than just the Weatherbird, as we can see at the St. Louis Public Library's new exhibit, a tribute to Amadee, more than just a Weatherbird. And Sarah Kane from the library is joining us now. Hi, Sarah, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You know, this guy, what? He was with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch more than half a century?
Yeah, almost 50 years.
Yeah, and he was known by one name, and there was pretty good reason for that.
Yes, his last name is pretty hard to pronounce. We think it's Walsh-Schlager.
We almost said
gotten it
Jägermeister.
right, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. German, very German. And he's actually infamous for misspelling his own last name
You were
on
telling
a
me that
drawing.
earlier.
So yeah, so that's the story, and that's the reason why he goes by Amadee.
Well, how many people altogether did the Weatherbird? 4 or 5, something like that in its history?
I believe so. I think, yeah, we're on the 5th or 6th.
So why are we celebrating Amadee?
He passed away this past June on the 24th.
He was 102.
102.
Yes,
That's a ripe old
amazing.
age. Yes,
Yeah.
that's great.
And pretty much drew up into the end, not the Weatherbird, but he was pretty active as an artist.
Sure. He did sports until about his 90s, I think he commissioned.
What can you tell us a little about the history of the Weatherbird itself and where he fit into the picture here?
So the Weatherbird was started in 1901, and it has been a front page feature since that time. And he illustrated the Weatherbird through things like the Great Depression, World War II, you know, the Korean and Vietnam Wars. So he's seen the Weatherbird change over time, and that's what's great about it.
Now, with the Weatherbird, we know about the cigar, and he's got a glass of scotch. And so tell us about where that came about as well.
That came from Amadee,
That's
didn't it?
Amadee,
Yeah, I was
yes,
about to
that
say,
is
that's him.
Amadee. You know, he put a little bit of himself into the Weatherbird.
Before we go any further, you have some original work, do you?
I do. So the first one here is the illustration of Old Busch Stadium, the proposal.
That's awesome.
And then this is actually from the Media Persons of the Year, which is a press club event. And
Karen Foss.
Yes.
Yes.
And the big thing is the caricature. So each year,
Oh my gosh, look at all that.
that's what they do. And that's kind of, I think this is about 92, I believe, somewhere around there.
That is
He had such
awesome.
a clean, crisp style. I really like it.
Yes.
Does anybody know how long it took him to actually create a lot of these pieces? Was it something that took a long, intricate amount of time? I've seen artists do things so super fast, especially drawings like this. I always wonder how long they take.
I'm not sure. I'm sure the Weatherbird, he could probably do in his sleep, though.
And so how much of his work do you have at the St. Louis Public Library?
We have a few pieces, but a lot of the pieces that are on exhibit at the library are actually a loan from Dan Martin, who's the current Weatherbird artist.
What do we know about him? You know, it's sort of really an American success story because he really started at the bottom and worked his way up. I think he started at the Post as a lowly copy boy.
He did. And then he moved into the art department, and then I guess the story kind of goes that he just kind of laid a Weatherbird drawing in there, and he's like, this is what I have to present. They're like, we really like this. We're going to hire you on, and you're going to do the Weatherbird.
That is such a neat story. So tell us a bit more about the exhibit itself. What other things can people expect to see?
There's Julius Hunter.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So another media personality.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect of him.
A lot of sports drawings, a couple of cases that dedicate to the Weatherbird. As we know, the St. Louis population loves the Weatherbird, and who wouldn't? We have a few of his personal items and a few.
Like what?
For example, a water bowl that he used to, it was an old coffee can, and you could see the paint dripping down the side, and he signed it and gave it to Dan Martin. His pantograph, which basically enlarges the drawing or miniaturizes the drawing. Scissors that he used day in and day out. We also have photos and plaques that he had hanging in his studio and in the nursing home.
And doesn't the Weatherbird hold the reputation as something like the longest continual themed cartoon like in the country, perhaps, or something like that?
I think in America, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing. So tell us about the relationship between the gentleman who's letting you have the pieces or use the pieces for the exhibit and Amadee.
So Dan Martin, again, he was a Weatherbird artist, and their time actually overlapped in 1980. So they got to know each other, became lifelong friends. Amadee gave him a lot of his stuff, and he's been in contact with the family, and he just decided that this needs to be preserved, and I want these items.
You know, a lot of people are familiar with the sporting news too, and Amadee also did cartooning for them for something like 30 decades. I guess it was during the same time period in conjunction.
Yes, in conjunction.
So he did a lot of famous sports personalities and that sort of thing.
Sure. Cardinals were his favorite, I think.
Was he appreciated? He's been honored, hasn't he? Isn't he in the Media Hall of Fame? And
Yes, he's in the Media Hall of Fame. I think he's in some others. Even, I believe, the Baseball Hall of Fame. He has a plaque up there.
And so this is going to be up till, is it the end of November?
End of November.
It's already started.
It has.
In addition to that, Sarah, you have something at the library I wanted to ask you about before our time is out, the media archives that you have.
I do. So the pieces that we have on display are from the media archives, which is housed within special collections. And the goal of the exhibit, or the goal of the collection, is to preserve materials on local history, which is print, TV, radio, and advertising, unique to St. Louis. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I am curious. This is my last question. What would you say, does anybody know, what was his personality like? Because you have to wonder, with the scotch and the cigar, what was he like?
I think we know.
I'm kind of curious about that,
He loved to live it up. He was very, very loud, but a very kind and true and genuine man.
So the bottom line is that you can see Amadee's work at the St. Louis Public Library through the end of November, and you should do that.
Definitely check out the website down below, slpl.com, to get more information. Thank you so much for being here with us so much. And these are amazing pieces. We're going to go check out some more. And we're going to check out to see what's going on with Debbie in the Den.
Well, thanks. If you like to get dirty, and I know Sandy does, while putting your mind and body to the test, well, the Battlegrounds Mud Run might be just for you. I'm joined right now by owner Carl Bohm to learn a little bit more about how you can get involved and also who benefits from this very fun event. Carl, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, mud runs. Now, I've heard of them before, have never participated in one.
Sure.
People love an excuse to get dirty.
They love mud runs. This mud run is an obstacle course that we've got both a 5-mile and a 5K run. It is competitive and non-competitive. We've got team building, and then we've got our competitive race at 8 a.m. Saturday morning on October 4th.
All right, so serious runners who really want to challenge themselves can do this, but just people who want to show up and play around and get dirty, are welcome as well.
It's a blast. It's a social event, competitive event. Everybody come out. This is our 5th biannual race, and we've got our best numbers yet. So.
All right, so your 5th, and this is coming up on Saturday, October the 4th. And Cedar Lake, for people who aren't familiar, where is this actually taking place?
Sure. It's in Wright City, Missouri, 11008 Schreckengas Road. It's in Wright City, Missouri, and then the winery is right next to the Battlegrounds, and you can just look it up on the website, thebattlegrounds.com.
Does the winery prefer that people hose down first before showing up afterwards?
Great point. We've thought of all that. We've got permanent showers there, changing rooms, hot and cold water, mirrors, electric, everything. So bring a bag, bring some clothes, and after you get done in the morning or afternoon, you can go over to the winery.
Most of us spend, the latter part of our childhoods and most of our adulthood being told not to get dirty. And then, people love a mud run because they'll just be completely covered in mud. So let's talk a little bit about the mud.
Sure.
Because some people don't care. It's mud, I'm in there. But how do you create enough mud to have an entire course? Is there some sort of special mud that you're making?
That's a great question. So we've taken 100+ acres, and we've used the terrain. So we're running in and out of creeks and up hills that are natural running areas you'd see at any park. And then we've created some 30+ military-style obstacles, engineered obstacles. These are permanent ones. This is the Midwest's only permanent obstacle course. And we do haul in some topsoil and mud in some of the obstacles to make it a little muddier, as you say, but we also have our signature obstacles, such as the torpedo launcher, where you'll go down this 100 plus foot slide into a pool of water. So all kinds of interesting twists and turns, and we change it up every year as we've done again this year for this race.
Yeah, we're seeing a few pictures here of people going, that must be the slide,
That's
right?
The torpedo launcher right there, yes.
So you can get a little clean and then go right back at it into the mud.
And then go at it again. Yes, you can.
So I imagine it adds an extra layer. I mean, if you're used to doing an obstacle course, the mud adds that layer because it's going to be thicker in places. It's going to suck your shoes up and, or it's slippery. Talk about some of the challenges people should be prepared for.
You're going to have wet clothes. There's some tricks to this. So you're going to get totally soaked. So the more competitive people will actually cut holes in their pockets so they don't hold water if they've got pockets on their running pants or what have you. And yeah, you're going to get muddy, you're going to get rinsed off, you're going to have fun. We have a festival afterwards and music and entertainment. So it's an entire morning and afternoon that you can spend next door at the winery.
Is there an age limit? Because I know kids would love to come and play in the mud, but
sure.
I don't know.
So we have an age limit. It's 18 to run the course, but we thought of the family and the kids, and we are very family friendly at the Battlegrounds. So we have a small little fun mud run course for the kids also, right there in the main area.
Where they can get dirty without mom yelling at them. Stop
and mom
getting dirty.
Can watch them. Yes.
All right, so you said that your sign-ups already are ahead of last year. So ideally, what would you like to have? How many participants?
We have a very large capacity facility, and we planned and designed it that way several years ago. So we're going to have, with spectators this year, well over 2,000 people there.
Wow.
About half of those the registered runners. We're very spectator friendly also.
All right, so it's in Wright City, and it's coming up on October the 4th. And before we let you go, Carl, talk about which charities the proceeds will go to.
Absolutely. Our local Backstoppers, which the funds that will be donated will go to our fallen heroes, as well as Barrel Aid, Haiti, that will provide the shoes. After the race, we've got dirty shoes that we'll ship to Haiti, that they'll be reused, and then our own local St. Louis Operation Food Search. So we're hopeful to donate a lot of food, so bring your food out.
Excellent. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Carl, have a fantastic event, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the granddaddy of all mystery men, so stay with us right here on St. Louis Presents.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back. Footprints, splatter patterns, the powers of observation marking the journey through the International Exhibition of Sherlock Holmes.
This is a brand new interactive exhibit coming to the St. Louis Science Center that combines science with history and culture for an unforgettable experience.
We're very pleased to have with us our neighbor just down the street from STL TV, the president and CEO of the St. Louis Science Center. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bert Vescalani, we should give your name for sure.
That's all right.
Okay, mysteries have always been around, and people love mysteries, right. And it seems like each new generation kind of gets that new flavor of it. But the granddaddy of them all, I think we'd all agree, was Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I think Sherlock made it famous, right? I mean, Sherlock had this way of taking you through this discovery around something that you kind of thought was going in one direction, but then took you in a different way. And it used some old techniques of solving, you know, these mysteries, detective work and so on, that have actually translated into current times in what we do. A little bit more sophistication, a little bit more science, but really the origins of that science and discovery were there. So it's pretty cool.
So what is this marriage between science and Sherlock Holmes? How will that be shown in this exhibit?
Yeah, well, I believe there's a marriage between science and everything.
Okay.
But this is a great example of it. So as you solve the mystery, and you are solving the mystery in this exhibit, you begin the exhibit experience with some basic clues and some ideas. You stumble across a scene that you have to figure it all out. And what you do is you use forensics, you use biology, you use geology, you use all the core sciences to kind of dive in and get a little bit more sense. Use your clue book to figure out what's happening, maybe what's happening that you didn't quite know what was happening. So there's a great evolution that goes through this process of you self-discovery of this crime scene that takes place. It's really a gorgeous experience. And I will say this, the design, the thematic design, the feeling that you get, you feel like you're in London.
Oh, and I haven't been to London, so
Neither
I'll have to
have
live
I.
vicariously through this exhibit.
Right.
I was thinking when I first heard about this exhibit, I thought, oh, this is good because kids don't know who Sherlock Holmes is. And then I thought, no, how stupid, because of course on TV right now there's, you know, the, what's his name, Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock. We've got the Sherlock version with Johnny Lee Miller on CBS. I mean, there's so many new incarnations of Sherlock that certainly everybody still knows who Sherlock Holmes is.
Sherlock is timeless. It really is. And that's what was so intriguing for us. I mean, we worked really hard to get this exhibit here for a whole lot of reasons. It's an international exhibit. It's going to be traveling the U.S. and then heading overseas. And we were one of the few cities that's stopping in. And so we worked hard to get it here, and we tried to find a way to make it all happen. And with sponsorship and support from our community, we're able to do that. The thing that I think we all got really excited about is it just never keeps, as you said earlier, it doesn't go away, right? So it keeps coming up. No matter how old some of the references are, no matter how harsh some of the contexts are and so on, it just keeps bubbling up. And I think it's people's fascination with forensics, people's fascination with solving a mystery, discovering something that they didn't know, taking them in perhaps a different path that they never would have expected going in. And the exhibit's very hands-on, like all of the Science Center exhibits. It's very interactive. And we think that people will engage in it in a much greater than that they would normally expect to be in. So it should be a pretty exciting opportunity.
So this is an exhibit that's available for all ages.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll trend a little higher though, so it'll be like 8 years old and up.
Okay.
Because you probably want to be able to read a little and follow the clues, kind of thing.
Right. And we love it when it's a family experience because everyone experiences that the same way. One of my favorite exhibits that we have at the Science Center is Building the Arch, that you can't do alone. You have to do it with someone else, and it's simple and it's neat, and it's the arch, right?
And then it falls on you, and then everyone blames the other person. You weren't holding it.
Exactly my point. It's a cool thing. So you build it, you destroy it. It's kind of neat. In this exhibit, it will also have that level of interactivity. It'll have that experience that you've got to work with others to help figure this mystery out and solve it.
And you get to solve this. Now, at the end of the thing, of course, you can't give it away.
No, I will not do that.
Do the participants get anything for having solved it, any of that type of thing? Do they walk away with anything if they actually got it right?
Yes, well, they get a booklet that will help them solve
Outside
it.
of the knowledge that they will get.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they don't get a big paycheck or anything like that. But you know, they do. They have a great experience, and that's one takeaway, right? And then the other takeaway experience will be this kind of memory book that they'll have in their mystery and solving that mystery and what it's all about. So that'll be a part of the experience, and hopefully they'll share it. We'll have, of course, a gift shop and things like that they can, you know, purchase those artifacts and those things that they think are pretty special.
Do you ask people on the way out to not blow it for the other people as far as not? I know, don't you hate those people? There are always those people who want to blow the ending for you.
There are, and it'll probably happen, I'm sure. But I think part of the fun, even if you knew the end, is to see if you would go the same way that someone else would. So it's not that it's some big reveal. It's the process that you go through, the hands-on experiences, the looking at footprints in the sand and trying to figure out if it's a boot or a shoe and how big the person was. All of those things that you use in investigation and that scientists use every day, right? So scientists are doing this day in and day out. They're looking at things, discovering things, taking a different approach, maybe failing a little bit to get to the final decision and the final answer. And that's what we want to try to instill in people, that it is a process. It is an exciting opportunity.
All right. Well, Bert Vescaleni, thank you so much for sharing with us. And we encourage people, of course, to head to the St. Louis Science Center, not just for this exhibit, but anytime the kids are feeling restless, they will never argue with heading over to the Science Center. And we will never argue with Steve Potter because he has a snappy blue vest on and he has some headlines for us. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, I think. And you know, that was interesting. I love a good mystery like, how did I get this job? Aldermanic President Lewis Reed has teamed up with Forest Relief of Missouri to encourage people to plant for peace. He's calling on the community and groups around the region to join together on Sunday, October the 5th, to participate in what's being billed as one of the largest honorary tree planting efforts of its kind. Over 500 trees have been made available for organizations to reserve at no cost for planting at public or nonprofit sites. Those interested can reserve trees by visiting plantforpeacestl.org or by calling President Reed's office at 314-622-4114. For more information about Forest Relief of Missouri, visit morelief.org or call 314-533-5323. Bike St. Louis has moved into Phase 3 a decade after the first phase began. With the third phase, an additional 40 miles of street bike routes in the city of St. Louis will be added and 60 miles of existing paths will be upgraded. The bicycle routes installed as part of Phase 3 will be placed throughout the city and will connect with the existing Bike St. Louis network in the city, Clayton, and Maplewood. The project will be completed in the spring of 2015, and you can learn more by visiting greatriversgreenway.org. And known as one of the most haunted small towns in America, Alton, Illinois has attracted numerous travelers and even television shows to investigate and inquire about the unexplained happenings and psychic phenomena that can be found throughout the town. Well, now there's a free app that will allow you to find haunted events and tours as well as view and share haunted photos. You can download the Haunted app for free by searching Haunted Alton in the iTunes or Android store or by going to visitalton.com/haunted app. And you know, they say Alton is one of the most haunted towns in America, and in Alton, 12th Street is the most haunted street. And just so you know, I can see 12th Street from my house.
Really?
Seriously?
Yes. I live in an old yes.
Oh my goodness.
I live in an old house.
See, that was weird. My mic just fell in the back.
How did that happen?
Yeah. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Never mind.
I've done one of those haunted Alton tours, and it was really fun.
I used to think my house was haunted when I moved in, and all my friends teased me that I scared the ghosts away. So
I can
know what
see
that
that.
means.
All right. Also, the Fox Theater is doing a haunted Fox Theater tour in mid-October, so check that out as well.
Right.
So we hope you enjoyed this edition of St. Louis Presents, and of course, we're here all the time bringing you all of the great events going on around St. Louis and beyond.
And we want to thank all our guests today, and you at home for watching.
And of course, make sure you guys check us out everywhere, because you guys know that's what we are. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. We will see y'all next time. Bye.
See you.